Hey, what's going on guys, my name's Raf, and let's face it, we all miss Ash Ketchum. Ever since our 10-year-old hero and his partner Pikachu departed from the anime, I'm sure we can all agree things have changed, but just because he's left doesn't mean we can't stop talking about him. Today I'm going to talk about something very interesting about our 10-year-old hero, especially in relation to the dub of the Pokémon anime. It's actually quite mind-blowing to say the least, so let's jump straight into it. Don't forget to leave this video a like to show your support, and I'll be sure to bring out my next video shortly. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't ready to keep up to date, and without further ado, let's begin. Ash's adventure in the Pokémon anime has been incredible, and there's been a ton of memories that have stuck not only with him, but also us viewers. Throughout the production of the Pokémon anime, there's been some changes that have shaped how this series is today. Some of these changes have been very influential in the series, and it makes you wonder how the Pokémon anime could have been if they were not implemented. This video is going to cover 4 big changes that essentially amalgamate together what Ash Ketchum's original self could have been like. Let's start off with Ash's name, Satoshi in Japanese, and Ash Ketchum in the dub. However you name him, he's our hero. But did you know that Ash wasn't originally the given name for our hero? I recently got in touch with the beloved Veronica Taylor, Ash's dub voice actor, to talk about this subject, and I was blown away by this discovery. Back in 2008, a documentary named Adventures in Voice Acting was released via DVD. This documentary gathers 100 voice actors, producers, and casting directors that were part of anime dubs and video games. Veronica Taylor was part of this interview, and she went on to talk about something very interesting about Ash Ketchum. Veronica mentioned in the interview that during her audition for the role of Ash Ketchum, he was known as Casey at the time. Veronica went on to confirm that the first episode was recorded with the name Casey, and then afterwards it got later on changed to Ash. Of course, this took some time for all of the arrangements and changes to be made with Nintendo and Pokémon in Japan, alongside 4Kids and the broadcasters in the US. How crazy is that? Imagine if Ash kept the name of Casey. That would have been made for some very interesting plot twists. Champion of Alola Casey. World Champion Casey. I'm Casey from Pallet Town. For me personally, I'm really happy that they made this change. No offense, but I don't see the name Casey being as popular compared to something like Ash. There's a ton of swag and coolness when we put his name and the person together, but hey, shout out to the character Casey from the Johto series who got her spotlight when she did. I guess that's some cool trivia that we all know about our 10-year-old hero Casey. Ash, sorry. Next up, we have Ash's hat. Throughout Ash's adventures, we've seen him acquire a new drip with his hat being the most iconic accessory. My favourite is his hat from the Diamond and Pearl series. Even though Ash's hat has changed throughout the anime, did you know that Ash's hat originally looked like this? In the original series, this concept art depicted what Ash's original hat was meant to look like. In fact, it was originally meant to be similar to Red's hat, his original design from the Pokémon Red and Green games. Ash's hat underwent several changes until its final design was created. Looking from the concept art, we can see that there were a variety of logos and symbols used to experiment on this final hat design. I reckon it would have been pretty cool to see Ash wear the same hat as Red, especially seeing he is the counterpart to this character in many ways. My favourite out of the beta designs has to be this Pikachu lightning bolt cap. Shout out to the bro Liam for helping me come up with a possible colour design. I chose the colour blue for the P to represent the colour of the Pokemon logo, and also kept the red and white base coloration, with of course the Pikachu lightning bolt being yellow. I reckon it would have been a perfect fit as well, seeing as Ash obtained Pikachu as his starter. But in fact, that leads on to the next topic, Ash's starter Pokemon. We all know the story of Ash waking up late and obtaining Pikachu as his first Pokemon, but many tend to forget that this wasn't the original starter Pokemon Ash wanted. Prior to the big day, Ash had a dream of which Kanto starter he wanted to choose. Arriving at Oak's lab the next day, Ash decided that he in fact wanted Squirtle as his starter Pokemon. Now what interests me the most is not why Ash wanted Squirtle, but more of the fact if Ash got Squirtle. What would have happened to Pikachu? Who would have gotten this Pokemon if he decided to stick with this plot? Maybe Ash would have obtained a Pikachu later on in Viridian Forest. I think if Ash got Squirtle and then maybe Gary would have gotten Pikachu, then that would have been pretty interesting. Maybe to be that rival that had the Pokemon with the type advantage, and then later on down the line Ash would inevitably defeat it in battle. Pretty much just how like the Silver Conference was with Charizard and Blastoise. There's a lot of possibilities that could have been raised if Ash actually got Squirtle as his starter Pokemon. It makes you wonder how his team would have been formed, not only in the original series, but also for future generations. Would Ash have kept Squirtle in its first stage? Would it have evolved into a Blastoise? Would this Pokemon have stayed as his ace on his team? Who knows? But this is where we now come to the final topic of discussion, Ash Ketchum's original Pokemon team. Now there's no denying that we love all of Ash's Pokemon. They've been the staple of his adventures, helping him defeat some of the strongest opponents, and acclaim world champion victory. Ash's Kanto team consisted of the rotation of these Pokemon, and I have to say, I love them all. But did you know that Ash's original Kanto team was meant to look like this? In 1999, an official Pokemon Banpresto poster was released showcasing what Ash's Kanto team was meant to look like. It very much did include Squirtle, implying that maybe Ash was meant to obtain Squirtle as his starter and even possibly keep it in its base stage. It could have also been that maybe this was an early art to showcase Ash with Squirtle, and then later on it could have potentially evolved into a Blastoise. It also included Pikachu, which once again refers to what we spoke about earlier, indicating that Ash was very much going to get Pikachu in the end. But let's take a closer look at the team, starting with Venusaur. This has to be the biggest shock for me. We all know about Bulbasaur's arc where it met the other Bulbasaur led by Venusaur, and how it forced itself to not evolve. So the fact that this art is visualizing it being in its final state just goes to show how much of a plot change the writers were planning to implement. I wonder how the anime would have been if the writers went forward with these decisions. Bulbasaur is the protector of Oak's lab, and also a very influential Pokemon, showing kindness to others, besides being incredibly powerful. Having Venusaur by Ash's team would have been cool, and better yet, it could have been just as impactful, but I'm glad we kept with Bulbasaur the way he is. Next up, we have Pidgeotto. Now what a way to rub the salt in the wound. We all know what happened with this Pokemon. It evolved into Pidgeot, left Ash to look after a new flock, and then it didn't even return until almost 26 years later, with it then deciding to rejoin Ash's team. But the fact Pidgeotto was said to be a Pokemon that would stay with Ash on his original team is borderline emotional in a way, but my goodness, I'm just glad it came back in the end. We then have Tauros. Which one specifically, we don't know. This could have implied that maybe Ash would have caught a single Tauros from the Savari Zone rather than 30, if he was able to successfully catch the Rhyhorn he intentionally wanted. It could be that maybe he's just rotating between the 30 of them, but it's hard to tell, especially seeing as during his later travels, we didn't even know which Tauros specifically he used. Was it the same one? Did he rotate? Who knows. Putting this team together, it clearly shows that Ash would have stuck with catching all 3 of the Kanto starters, with Squirtle being the only one to not evolve. I think this team would have been really cool. It covers a lot of typings, allowing them to have access to a wide move pool. On top of that, imagine if Ash kept this team. It would have been very interesting to see how battles unfolded alongside the overall plot. Maybe Ash would have won the Indigo League, possibly retiring his story, or maybe he would have stuck with his team till the very end of his journey. Even though Ash has now left us, it's always fun and exciting to explore details about his character that not many of us know about. It really makes you think about how the anime could have been shaped if these changes weren't scrapped. But I guess all things happen for a reason. Stay tuned for more content about our 10-year-old hero, as I'll be kickstarting a new series soon covering some more cool details about his character, including some what if scenarios. But why not let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to interact with me, then be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the ThePokéRaf Discord server to discuss all things Pokemon. You can find the rest of my social networks on screen and in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, as your support is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. Finally, make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with my videos, and click on the little bell to enable notifications so you guys get notified when I upload a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to stick around for more Pokemon content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.